I've never talked about my severe ADHD diagnoses on this channel, and after this video, I probably never will again. Because the most important thing I learned about ADHD is this. In the real world, no one cares. Not your boss, not your clients, not your teammates, not the clerk at the store. People care only about results. And for most of my life, that was a problem, because I was terrible at getting results. To compound this problem deep into adulthood, I'm filming this on the other side of the planet, partway through the 6-month work trip I take every single year. From airport to airplane to client to hotel to cafe, which makes productivity even harder. So over the years, I've had no choice but to build systems that make my productivity almost bulletproof against my own brain. And if your brain works anything like mine, they might help you too. Strategy 1, stop managing time. Start managing energy. A lot of productivity advice is about time management, calendars, schedules, prioritization. But time management does not work very well for my ADHD brain because ADHD is not really a time problem. It's, for me, an energy problem. Meaning some hours of the day my brain feels like a supercomputer, while other hours it feels like a potato. So instead of scheduling specific tasks minute by minute, I schedule types of tasks that mirror the natural cadence of my brainwaves, my very own energy clock. For example, the first hour, or if I'm lucky, 2 hours after waking up, that's when my brain is best at creative thinking. Writing client proposals, thinking through sales rebuttals, doing design work, tasks where my brain gets to do some gymnastics. But the catch with ADHD is the same brain that starts passionately also self-sabotages when it comes to finishing things. Follow through is difficult, so my next block of the day is the opposite of creativity. Brainless work. I'm talking things with clear, unambiguous instructions like bookkeeping, machining, heck, even editing videos. Editing my type of videos is basically just take clip A, put it in slot B, cut here, delete that, overlay this there, trim to fit. It's basically like building a Lego set. Not exciting, but strangely calming because like Lego, the instructions are clear. But after enough brainless, instruction-following work, I get bored and get remotivated to tackle creative tasks again. The big lesson for me was this. We don't need perfect schedules. Not an hourly clock, but an energy clock, or perhaps better yet, a task style clock that properly leverages our brain's natural energy cadence. We need to first use self-awareness and self-observation over a few days to understand when our brain does what best. It's only then that we can build our day around that, so counterintuitive to the ADHD brain, you still create a schedule, but it's based on energy and types of tasks that best match it. Strategy 2, when in doubt, walk. Seriously. Walking might be the most underrated productivity tool on earth, because something strange happens when you move your body forward. Your thoughts can finally start moving in one direction too. You can walk silently, listen to music, make a phone call, you can think about work or think about nothing at all. It does not matter. What matters is that when I come back from a walk, I can almost always focus for at least one solid work sprint when I get back. And to be clear, most of my walks are just 3 to 5 minutes doing laps around my kitchen and living room. I mean, my type of ADHD brain often sees putting on shoes alone to walk outside as too much of a barrier. Also, if you work at a desk all day, walking is just good for you anyway, so this is probably the healthiest form of procrastination that exists. Strategy 3, draw the ladder. And this one might be the most powerful. One of the biggest problems with ADHD is that tasks, even small ones, can feel overwhelming, so we just avoid them. And it's not because we're lazy, but because the path forward feels unclear or ambiguous, so whenever I start anything new, I open my notebook and draw that task or project's ladder. At the top of the page, I write the final outcome, for example, publish a YouTube video. That right there is the top of the ladder. Then underneath it, I write the step right before that needs to get done in order for that to happen. But you can see that there are a ton of micro steps all the way down, and I keep drawing that ladder until, and here's the important part, I reach something so small and so low stakes, it'd be ridiculous not to do it, which in this example is simply this. Brainstorm 10 ideas, no matter how dumb they seem, which is so low stakes because I'm not committing to any one idea yet, nor am I giving myself pressure to even think of good ideas. I just want my brain to start thinking about videos, period. Point is, that ridiculously simple bottom step is the first rung of the ladder. And once that step is done, I can move to the next rung, then the next. And suddenly the big scary project is just a series of tiny steps, and that clarity is incredibly powerful for my type of ADHD brain. And beyond that, as weird as this is going to sound, the fear is almost never failure. The fear is often success of completing a task, because successful completion means we need to start back at ground zero again on something new. And for ADHDers, history has taught us that we just don't follow through, so staying trapped within an existing project often feels so comforting. And so drawing the ladder has been the single biggest help with this ADHD death loop for me. Strategy 4, the big daily 3. At the end of every workday, I write down just 3 individual tasks. Not 10, not 15, 3. 3 things that must get done before bed the next day come hell or high water. And here's the important part. They do not have to be impressive. I've literally written, put clothes into washing machine. Not finish laundry, just put clothes in the machine. Because the goal is not to create a massive to-do list. It's to set ourselves up for success, to build motivation to keep going, to get used to not just doing things, but getting things done. It's critical, therefore, to write tomorrow's Big Daily 3 at the end of today, because we want to eliminate the uncertainty of simply starting tomorrow. And what usually happens next is interesting, because once I complete those 3 tasks, momentum kicks in and I end up doing way more. And how do I choose those 3 tasks? Simple. I start by looking at the next rung on the in-progress ladders I've already drawn. Strategy 5, the 5-year diary. And this one is more philosophical, yet to me tremendously powerful in how effective it is. If you've been with me for a bit, you've already seen this 5-year diary many times. It's a notebook where every day you get just 5 lines to write about your day. Highs, lows, whatever mattered. But the real power comes from one question I now naturally ask myself after writing, and the question is this. If every day of the next year looked exactly like today, what would my life become? If today was productive, that's motivating, but if today was wasted, that question hits really hard. And that awareness quietly nudges me toward better choices tomorrow. 5 short lines to synthesize every day, and at the end of the year, flip back to the beginning and start all over again. 5 short lines to help ask herself, if every day repeats like today, what will my life become when the last entry of this notebook is done? That's powerful stuff, at least to me, and if you think this makes sense and can benefit you in the same way, you can of course find the 5-year diary link down in the description below. But I gotta come clean. All of these strategies exist for a deeper reason, and that reason is incentives. You see, when I was an employee, my single incentive was simple. Do not get fired so I can keep getting a paycheck. That's it. And when I was paid for my time at the office, doing the bare minimum became surprisingly logical. But entrepreneurship changed that. When my results became 100% my own and determined whether I'd pay rent or not, that's when my brain suddenly became very interested in solving productivity and in yielding results. Because to repeat the intro, the harsh reality is that in the real world, no one cares that I have ADHD. They only care about results. And now looking back, I realize that figuring out our deepest incentives is something that's so recommended in order to even frame results for ourselves. But look, if you, like me, have ADHD, there's something important to understand. Your brain probably will not change. Mine hasn't. I still get bursts of passion that fade almost instantly. I still struggle with follow-through. My brain has not changed. But what can change are the systems around our brains. And for me, it's been energy management instead of time management, walking instead of trying to force focus, starting tomorrow with just 3 clearly defined things no matter how easy, breaking every undertaking into ladders that make sense for how you get things done, and consistently remembering that today quietly becomes our future. Speaking of which, if you want a deeper dive into exactly how I draw ladders and structure tasks based on them, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. If, however, you're feeling real lucky, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next. But while you're deciding if you got value, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drops.